right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome if you are new here. Thank you guys so much for joining me today and waiting patiently for the intro to finish up. We have the Universal Gamer, a member for 35 months, saying, Yo, MBG, hope all is well. Well, thank you for that. I'm doing okay today. All is well today. I hope all is well with you too. And thank you for being a member for 35 months, man. You know I appreciate that support. Yes, it is Friday. We have quite a few different things to go over and talk about. Irfin's right on it. He's right on it. Guys, do me a favor. If you haven't already, take a moment. Please hit that like button. All right. If you want to help the stream, if you want to help Press X Podcast and you want to help me with the YouTube algorithm, take a moment, hit that like button. Only takes a second. I really appreciate that. Let me see here. Okay. Irfin, what is this you're sending me? Interesting. IGN poll reveals 70% plan to buy the GTA 6 Ultimate Edition over the Standard Edition. Surprise, surprise, people are willing to pay $100 for GTA 6. Who would have thought? Hellbound, what's up, man? Ghetto God, Lady Gamer. Tarnished, what is going on? Skillful says, good afternoon, MBG in chat. Shout out to the mods. Well, we have we have a few different things we're going to be talking about today. We seemingly have gotten our first details on GTA 6 on the PS5 Pro, and it has definitely caused people to assume that this game is not going to be running at 60 frames. How's the neck and the shoulder? Um, Today it feels surprisingly okay. I still have some pain, but the pain is reduced quite a bit. I have to admit, I'm feeling in that regard. I'm feeling much better today. I think there's some kind of virus going around or something. I have like a sinus thing. I don't know, but in that regard, better. Definitely doing better. Which God, if it, I don't know if it's gonna stay this way, but man, it's nice. You know, I still have like a radiating pain down my arm, but compared to what it's been, it's like I'll take this, man. I'll take this. Yes, Ghetto God. Exactly. Pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition 15 minutes after pre-orders went live, and I would have paid more. I would have paid more. Whiskey Gaming. So I will let you know, man. I'm doing my stream with Mrs. MBG tomorrow night, but you're here right now. I'll leave it up to you, man. This was the only. I'm not gonna lie. What you sent me was the only thing I ended up getting in the PO box. So if you want, I have the box right upstairs. I could do it right here, right now, if that's what you'd prefer, or I could save it for tomorrow night. I'll leave it up to you, man. You let me know. Mini Tom's like, open it. Well, Whiskey's the one who sent it, so I'm gonna leave it up to him. Lady Gamer is saying you haven't slept well for 3 days due to the warm weather. Yeah, it sucks. That definitely sucks. Cloudy, what's going on, man? What's in the box? Yeah, he sends me something crazy. I haven't pre-ordered GTA 6 yet. No, I haven't done it yet. I am probably gonna wait. I usually pre-order games like as soon as, or not as soon, but like when they're really close to launch. If we could do it now, it'd be better. Doing a night marathon run. All right, Whiskey, just let me go grab that box, and we'll do it right here. All right, let me just clear some space here so I can. All right, I'm gonna mute the mic for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, sorry about that. I'll let everybody know now because again, we're going to be doing a stream tomorrow night. I will let you know now. This was the only thing I got in the PO box, okay? But it was sent by Whiskey Gaming, so we're going to open it here. All right. Tried to remove the top part here, so don't want to dox them by accident or anything. Trying to do an unboxing while standing. All right, I'm gonna set it down here and take it out. Oh, Whiskey, bro! Look at that. He sent me a cigar too. Whiskey Gaming, bro. Thank you so much for that. I was not expecting that. That's a pleasant surprise. Pardon, pardon or pardon. I don't know. Thank you for that, bro. That's very kind. That's a nice bonus. Got some fancy packaging here. So, as I understand, Whiskey Gaming, he made this custom for me here. I'm gonna attempt to open this though. This is packaged up pretty nicely. Let's see. Try to be careful with it. Just want to make sure I don't damage it or anything. So that'd be like the worst outcome here. Are you saying hopefully it didn't dry out? Yeah, it feels okay. It feels okay. Wait, what leaked? You guys are saying something leaked? Have to utilize all my years of experience opening consoles. We're getting there. We're getting there. I probably should have brought like a knife down or something, but it's all right. Just get this here. I'm old now. He's still unboxing. We'll get there. I promise we'll get there. This had to be bubble wrapped carefully, nice and tight. Probably hear me popping the bubble wrap. We're getting there. I promise. Hang tight. Everybody calm down. A few moments later. 10 minutes later. All right, guys, I got half the package. It's the bottom piece that's taking the longest. That's why I think I got it. Oh, wow. Oh, I got felt on the bottom, too. That's wow. Let's see. Let's see if I can just pull it up. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Custom made. Whiskey Gaming made this for me, bro. He made this for me. He sent it out, and he sent a cigar with it, too. Look at this. Whiskey Gaming. Bro, thank you so... Yeah, you were telling me you were making this. That turned out awesome, man. That looks sick. I don't even know what that is. It almost looks... It's got like a grayish and black and white mixture going on there. Very, very, very cool. And the bottom's real nice. It's got felt. Wooden finish. Yeah, I'm gonna... Hold on, let's see. Let's see how it looks. Look at that. Dude, that shit looks amazing. Look at that. It is epoxy poured into the laser engraving. Awesome, dude. Well, Whiskey Gaming.
Holy shit.
Thank you so much for that, man. That was worth the wait. Yeah, you were working on that for a while, man. And I'm glad I was able to make a spot there too for it to show up on the stream. That turned out better than I expected. I got to be honest. That turned out better than I expected. So big thank you once again and shout out to Whiskey Gaming for making that for me. Totally unprompted. He just wanted to do that. And we love you, Whiskey Gaming. You know, you're always welcome on the channel, bro. You know that. And always appreciate it. Always appreciate it. Looking forward to the cigar too. But with that, I will let you guys know though, with that being said, we're going to be doing a stream tomorrow night. It'll be me and Mrs. MBG. I'm gonna let you know now that this was the PO box opening. All right, I told y'all I was opening a PO box. Whiskey Gaming. He's the only one that came through. He's the only one that came through. But man, that was worth it. That's really nice, dude. I'm quite shocked at how nice that is. Very very cool. Awesome. Well, I wasn't expecting that to be how we started today's show, but let me. And he packages up nice too. I did miss a super chat from Vlund. He says PlayStation hardware sales, in the US crashed to their worst May in more than 25 years. Switch is number one, but also not selling as much as Nintendo had hoped. Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. Which he says, glad you like it. Took a total of about 7 hours. Well, I do like it, man. I really appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, I had high expectations, but it definitely surpassed my expectations. And it sits there perfectly as well on the shelf, which I was a little bit worried about that too, because I wanted to make sure for as much effort as you were putting into it that it'd be able to show up. So very very cool, man. Yeah, I'll have to figure out something with the lighting too. Maybe I'll put like a little LED strip behind it or something. I don't know. But yeah, appreciate all the support, guys. We have an amazing community here, and yeah, Whiskey definitely didn't have to do that, but he wanted to do it because he just felt like it. So thank you, man. Why is this music still playing in the background though? But yeah, we do have some topics we're going to be going over and covering today, guys. We're going to be talking about what's going on with these console sales. It seems like things are really getting bad out here. It's getting kind of spooky. I guess that is to be expected though. But surprisingly, going into this holiday season, even with GTA 6, retailers are now warning. They're like, "Hey, there's probably going to be shortages. There's going to be shortages." I'm like, okay. If Whiskey sent me that, I'd kiss him. It's beautiful. He said that to me, Michael, me, MBG. Oh man, yeah, the cigar was a nice touch. That surprised me. I wasn't expecting that. How do I feel about GTA 6 being $80 standard and the 100 payment for or you have to pay $100 to get the content they're removing? I mean, it is scummy. The $80 price point for the game itself is not shocking to me. The fact that they're like paywalling certain content, I'm like with $100 version, but I can't say I'm surprised. They can get away with highway robbery. They know they can. So that's exactly what they're going to do. The industry's overall revenue is still up, so it's not all doom and gloom. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. We're going to talk about this. We're going to get into it. Uh, all right. Let me see. So, yeah, I'm trying to find the report for. Let me just go to Matt Piscatella's. He's the one who does it. Just tell Blue Sky. Yeah, I think he just put out all the info today. So we're gonna get a good idea of what these price increases are really doing to console hardware sales. And we have a super chat from Cheese and Chainsaws, and he says, "Been thinking, what if Rockstar is being sneaky with a physical disc version? Like, yes, there is one, but it's the $150 to $200 collector's edition, and not a normal one." Well, I mean, that doesn't sound completely implausible when you consider how far they're already going with this stuff. Like people were pointing out that when you buy I think it is the $100 version of GTA, you get a month of GTA Plus, which is their subscription service for GTA Online. But it says in the fine print that it auto renews. Like by redeeming it, you're automatically agreeing to being signed up for auto renew, which I guess maybe isn't too surprising. But between that and paywalling certain content behind the $100 edition, I think that what you're saying, I think it is still unlikely because that would be extreme. People would be really pissed about that. However, they haven't announced a collector's edition. Yeah, maybe people would actually be okay with that. Collectors would be okay with that because collector's editions don't usually feature a disc. But I don't know. Hopefully that's not the case. I mean, ideally, they're gonna have a regular physical version. Um, Here's the thing. So I forgot to talk about this with you guys yesterday, and this is worth bringing up now. When we were talking about the physical copy of GTA 6 yesterday and how there are reports that it's going to happen, but it's happening in December, right? It's coming a little bit after the launch. People were saying that there's no reason for Rockstar to do this. They're trying to, um, they're trying to get people to double dip and all this stuff. And I don't doubt that. Like it's a possibility. But the one thing that I think we do need to try to keep in mind here. I'm not justifying it, but I'm just trying to explain probably where Rockstar is coming from. When it comes to GTA 6, if they were to do a regular physical run leading up to the launch on November 19th, I don't think people quite understand the level of incentive that people have to break street date, to basically, start doing illegal things because this is not a normal game. I know people mentioned like Crimson Desert. They mentioned how like Crimson Desert stopped people from being able to um play the game. Trailer 3 just dropped. I bet it did. Trailer 3 dropped at 12:23. Um but I really do think that this is like I could see people finding a way. I don't know. It's like if there's any data on the disc at all, I could see people finding a way to extract that data. I don't know how they would do it, but if there's any game that people would go absolutely above and beyond to do some of the most illegal stuff, you know, um, and I just wonder if from Rockstar's perspective, they're like, we just want to make that an impossibility. We don't want that to be possible. That would explain it, why they're ready to do a regular physical version almost immediately after. So I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it does kind of screw over people who want the physical version, a true physical version, because yeah, it does make it so it's like, oh well, I guess you have to double dip. I guess from their perspective, they don't really see any downside here. I think it's a disc thing and the fact that it's not on PC first, so to stop from spoiling and street date. Digital gamer since 2018. I mean, yeah, it's a unique situation. I would say for sure, definitely unique. If they release a physical disc later, would I double dip? I mean, I would say probably down the line, not immediately though, like years later perhaps. And Metal Gear Ray comes in. Metal Gear Ray comes in. He drops 5 member gifts on you guys. Wait, that was the wrong one. Not fit. Just pretend that said 5. Just pretend that said 5. I hit the wrong one. Ray, thank you so much for that. Very much appreciate you dropping some member gifts. If you guys want to support the channel, there are a couple of ways you could do that. You can become a channel member. You can gift memberships. We hit 25, we'll feed the beast. You can drop super chats, direct donations. These are all ways in which you can support. I can only do what I do here because you guys make it possible. So thank you all so much. And Mini Tom was in here. He was saying he's trying to get a member gift today, so we'll see what we can do for him. Unfortunately, he didn't get one with Ray's drop, but Let me add that to the goal here. And we also have a direct donation from where are we at? PS Contraband with a $2 direct donation. He says, with all the negative news and layoffs from gaming companies, Nintendo today raised the salary by 10% for all of their employees in Japan. Some good news. I didn't know about that. That is good news. And that feels like something you definitely wouldn't hear about today. Like that's not a thing that would happen in June of 2026 going into July. But good for Nintendo, man. News like that, it does feel like it's sparse. I mean, dude, the shit seems to be hitting the fan for a lot of other sectors. Nintendo, they seem to be in a good spot though, from what I can tell. I mean, they're not impenetrable, obviously. They're not immune to having some issues, but um, maybe other companies should kind of take a cue from them here. You know, that would be nice to see. I mean, just to get back to that question for a second, like, would I buy? Would I double dip? Would I get, another version of GTA 6 physically? Um, I mean, if I buy the game digitally at launch, I'll probably be fine with that for a long time. Maybe like a year or two later or something, or eventually down the line once the price drops, maybe I'll buy a physical version of it to add to my collection. GTA 6 is one of those games where I kind of don't really mind buying it digitally. Like I would prefer to get it physically, obviously, but it's one of these games where it's like I just kind of I can't deny like I just want to play the game, man. Like I'm not going to let anything get in my way. I'm not going to let anything stop me. MBG, I pre-ordered the Ultimate Edition for $100. Let's consume the paywalled slop. Did you pre-order? Not yet. No. Truthfully, I'm probably not going to pre-order GTA until like a week or two before it launches. That's usually how I do it. I mean, if I was getting it physically, I would pre-order it sooner. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I'm gonna. Will I buy the? Should I just buy the version that comes with the box? Let's just have an empty box. That's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine, guys. It's a game that shows people don't really care for physical. We'll see. I mean, I've seen more outrage for the physical, for the lack of a proper physical version than I expected to see. To be honest, yeah. Sorry, MBG. You are living in a fantasy world. The PS6 is not in danger. You think Sony is so stupid that they don't know how to find a solution? Believe me, they know. I mean, I don't doubt Sony and their ability to find a solution. It's just that when we talk about it, um, there's a level of uncertainty with any solution they come up with. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised based off of where we are at right now. I wouldn't be surprised if Sony's solution is we're just going to brute force it and we're just going to rely on the weight of the brand, the weight that it carries to see us through. Now, I wouldn't be shocked if they chose to do that. That might be the only option they have, and that could maybe work. I mean, it's like they could go out. They're gonna have to make their own RAM. Yeah, I mean, dude, it's too late for that, unfortunately. It's too late for that. But Titus says he's not pre-ordering until he knows 100% it's 60 FPS. Yeah, we still don't know. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about that. There's a bidding war between AMD, Nvidia, and Microsoft. Sony's super small. I mean, what if it gets to a point where it's just like, yeah, we can't produce PS6s. We just literally can't. Nintendo stopped chasing graphics after the GameCube and was the best decision they made. Shadowlink says between 850 and 1300. Somewhere around there. I hate the idea that 850 is like the floor. Jeez, man. That's crazy. That's crazy that that's where we are now. We have a new report that says the current RAM crisis is likely to continue to at least 2027. Sony's only option is to delay the PS6 until 2028, at least. Well, let me see. So, Irfan, you sent me this article. It says Micron, one of the largest global manufacturers of memory, expects the ongoing RAM shortage to last through 2027. That's according to Micron's CEO, who said the company's Q3 2026 earnings report today, um, that there's unprecedented demand facing the semiconductor industry and it's not letting up anytime soon. Quote, we expect tight conditions to persist beyond calendar 2027 as a result of AI driven demand across all segments, coupled with structural supply constraints. Yeah, I mean, it continues. Even as we expect the industry supply to improve gradually in 2028, we currently do not have a line of sight as to when memory supply will be able to catch up with increased demand. Oh boy. See, like that right there is where Sony might be in trouble. Where like, they're basic the companies that manufacture these components in the RAM, they're straight up saying like, yeah, we don't know. Like it's not going to be in 2027. We don't know if it's going to be in 2028. We can't really tell you. This is where this is what puts Sony in such a tough position because it's like, okay, if they choose to greatly delay the PlayStation 6, it's going to cause them a loss in money. It's going to hurt them for sure because they already have contracts in place and everything. It really just comes down to like what's going to hurt worse, trying to just brute force your way through this or basically starting over. Like that's the thing that I think a lot of people don't quite realize is that if we talk about Sony delaying the PS6 beyond 2028 into 29 or 2030, you're starting over basically. And considering like the PS6 is basically done at this point, you can begin to see how that really is something that is maybe not a good idea for Sony. But at the same time, when we look at these damn prices, I don't know what the fuck Sony's going to do. I don't know what Microsoft's going to do. We do have some data, some new sales data from the NPD that indicates these price increases are murdering these consoles. So this is like just not sustainable. Hold on. All right, Clark. Come on. I'll give you guys some. No contracts. Nobody has any contracts. Apparently, AI companies basically have first refusal. They turn up offer RAM at price, and AI companies just say yes. Hmm. I mean, are we looking at a potential situation where Sony's going to have to fight to even produce and manufacture consoles to even have the privilege to sell them at these exorbitant prices? I mean, is that what we're beginning to look at? Because that's scary. That's like really scary if true. Because it almost makes it sound like that. Do you think console manufacturers have to come up with a new business model? But I mean, what? How? Like, are they just gonna have to hit pause? Like, we're just gonna not manufacture consoles for like a couple years, guys. Okay, we're gonna. We know what? We're re-releasing the PS2. It's weird, man. It's very weird. Sony will produce their own RAM. Let me see. Could Sony produce their own RAM for the PS6? Technically, Sony could produce their own RAM for the PS6, but it's highly improbable. Modern high end console RAM, such as the rumored GDDR7 memory, is incredibly complex to mass produce, requiring billions of dollars in specialized semiconductor fabrication plants. While Sony is a massive electronics company with a robust semiconductor division known for its image sensors, they do not manufacture advanced memory. Building a fabrication line from scratch to support millions of consoles would be a massive financial undertaking. Yeah, that's not happening. That's definitely not happening. So let me go over some of this data. If I can find it. Matt Piscatella. Uh, so he says his biggest takeaways from all the data we're about to go over. Number one, the biggest hits are still hitting really big. Everything else is getting squeezed, which he's saying that's not new, but that's just continuing. Will He says this will be the last month with hardware growth for a while. Pricing in the Switch 2 launch comp will be a nasty combo. And then he says consumer demand is still healthy, but how long will prices allow for that? That's the question. Hmm. Okay. And we have a PS Contraband with another $2 direct donation. He says Sony is so small compared to Nvidia, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, or Apple. They'll struggle to beat them to the RAM if it's highest bidder. Yeah, that's what Yeah, it seems like that's where it's headed, and this is where it's starting to get really scary. Where it's like, I almost wonder if Sony's like, if things get bad enough, like this is the break glass in case of emergency plan. I wonder if their plan is literally just hunker down and absolutely just try to get the most out of your install base that you can. Like, well, I guess what I'm trying to say here is like, I wonder if Sony would be willing to operate for a certain period of time, whether it be 1 year, 2 years. I mean, it probably couldn't go on for that long, but a certain period of time where it's like, yeah, we're letting investors know there's going to be no growth whatsoever in the hardware sector. It's stopping, it's freezing. And so, what we're going to try to do is just maintain as much as we can through all the other vectors, and absolutely trying to utilize our uh, install base to do that. I mean, I wonder if that might be literally something they have no choice but to do for a certain period of time until things correct themselves. They're going to regress. They're going to be like, you know what? We are supporting PS4 again. Luna, man, that would result in a huge sell off of SNYE shares. Can't see it happening. Hmm. Well, let's continue to go over the data. Matt Piscatella reports May 2026 U.S. video game market highlights. A thread from Circana. 007 First Light and Nintendo Switch 2 drive 3% U.S. video game spending growth in May 2026. So accessories spending grew by 8% in May. Sorry, I'm all right. May 2026 U.S. video game total spending. U.S. video game spending reached $4.2 billion in May 2026, an increase of 3% when compared to a year ago. Year to date spending finished May 4% higher than 2025. So overall spending in the video game sector is actually up a little bit, surprisingly. So there is that. Thank you. I don't know. I appreciate that. Continues May 2026 U.S. projected top 10 best-selling games ranked on physical and full game digital dollar sales, excludes mobile and digital add-on content. So here's the top 10 for May. 007 First Light, Forza Horizon 6, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, Subnautica 2, Tamagotchi Life Living the Dream, MLB The Show 26, Crimson Desert, Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, Call of Duty Black Ops 7, and Mario Kart World. Sony is not on this list. Microsoft is on this list two times. Nintendo's on this list 3 times. Year to date, 2026 U.S. projected top 10 best-selling games ranked on physical and full game digital dollar sales. So, 10 best-selling games of the year so far are as follows: Resident Evil Requiem, Crimson Desert, MLB The Show. By the way, I said Sony wasn't on that list. You know what? I just want to say really quick. Hold on. I said Sony wasn't on that top 10 list. MLB The Show 26 is there, but they're listed as multiple video game publishers. So that threw me off. So Sony is there, but somebody else is publishing it as well, I suppose, somewhere else. But top 10 games sold for 2026 so far in the U.S. are Resident Evil Requiem, Crimson Desert, MLB The Show 26, 007 First Light, Forza Horizon 6, Pokemon Pocopia, Lego Batman Legacy of the Dark Knight, Tamagotchi Life Living a Dream, WWE 2K26, and Call of Duty Black Ops 7. Really surprised to see 007 First Light beating Forza Horizon 6. Gotta say. That's, like I knew 007 would sell well, but that's, wow, okay. Here we go. It says hardware. May 2026 hardware spending grew 38% versus 1 year ago to $249 million. Nintendo Switch 2 was offset by a 43%, the Nintendo Switch 2 offset a 43% drop in PlayStation 5 spending and a 58% dip in total unit sales, driven by recent price increases. Xbox Series hardware spending grew 7% versus a year ago. Units fell by 12%. Nintendo Switch 2 was again the best-selling hardware platform in both units and dollars for May 2026 year to date, with PlayStation 5 placing second across both measures and time periods. Nintendo Switch 2 finished the first 12 months in the market with 5.9 million, a 5.9 unit U.S. installed base. It is the second fastest-selling video game hardware in the U.S. tracked history, which began in 1995. Only Game Boy Advance's 6.5 million units exceeds it. PlayStation hardware unit sales fell to their lowest May total since May of the year 2000, while Xbox hardware unit sales were the lowest ever recorded for a May month. Jesus Christ. Dude, I feel like we're like, what the hell is going on, man? Like, this is crazy. That second part threw me off. I didn't know that. I didn't know it was the lowest in Xbox history. Come on. This isn't competition, man. They're like competing. Who can sync faster? Xbox is winning that one. This is crazy. Gaming is dying, bro. No, it can't be. Cole Payton's like, and y'all want a PS6 next year, huh? Y'all want that PS6? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. God damn, dude. That's crazy. Start a health channel now. Where there's a will, there's a way. I'm going to read it one more time. Just PlayStation hardware unit sales fell to their lowest total ever since May of 2000, while Xbox hardware unit sales were the lowest ever recorded for a month of May, or for a May month. Holy moly, man. And you know what the craziest part about those Xbox sales are? That was before yesterday's price increase, bro. What in the console gaming is going on? You know what Microsoft's going to have to do? Microsoft's going to have to come out announcing the Xbox Series Super S. And it's just like a fucking Xbox One or something, you know? That's what you're gonna have to do, man. It's the only way. And Mrs. MBG comes in. Oh, Mrs. MBG feeling a bit generous today. Drops a member gift for you guys. Who was the lucky recipient? Uh, Somebody I've never seen before, but there you go. Mrs. MBG, thank you for that. What soundbite should I give Mrs. MBG? Um, th- this is the special soundbite I reserved for Mrs. MBG.
Unjustifiably in a position that I'd rather not be in, but the cream will rise to the top. Oh yeah,
Sony right now.
Outside interference here.
This is Sony right now,
In
bro.
my moment of glory. Yeah, no, I'm living in a nightmare.
Toki.
And I am the cream. On balance, off balance, doesn't matter. I'm better than you are, yeah. I'm on my way. And nothing is gonna stop me. Nothing's gonna stop me.
That's legit Hiroki Totoki inside of Sony HQ right now. That's Hideaki Nishino actually going in with the PlayStation 6. That Macho Man energy. Oh yeah, Mrs. MBG wanted to go first. There you go. Sorry about that. I should have known. Goated soundbite. Maybe a little too long, but yeah, it's great. Let me see here. It says hardware. The average price paid for a new unit of video game hardware reached $502 in May. That's the average, up 14% compared to a year ago, where the average was at $440. May 2026 PS5 average pricing increased by 33% versus a year ago to $672, with Xbox Series up 22% at $524. June data will include the Nintendo Switch 2 launch month comparable. Content spending reached $3.8 billion in May of 2026, increasing by 1% when compared to a year ago. Year-to-date content spending remained 3% ahead of 2025 at $20.4 billion. So that's it. That's all the data he put out there. And long story short, spending is still occurring in the games industry, and it seems to be trucking along. Hardware is dying, at least for PlayStation and Xbox. I mean, seeing a PS5 with such a massive drop off. I mean, I guess it does make some sense because we suspected that when they announced the price increase, people went out there in droves, you know, before the price increase went into effect. You think the best solution is for Sony to release the PS6 very scarcely? If it's almost impossible to get one, it'll sell like hotcakes. This happened with the OG Wii as well. I mean, that did happen with the PS5 too. Not because Sony wanted it that way, but because it's just the way it went. I don't know. I mean, the big problem with the PS6, I know we sound like a broken record, but it's just all this news. It always boils down to the same thing. It's like the PS6 needs to reach a mass market. If it doesn't, Sony is in deep shit. As far as we're aware, Sony is not prepared to just suddenly introduce a new business model. They do have time to prepare for that, but really think about what could that new business model be? Realistically, what could it be? Because I can't really think of one. The issue is software increased by single digits. So another question I have is, and I'm curious what you guys think of this. Could we reach a point in the next few years where, if things get bad enough, like we obviously don't know what this AI situation. We know that the AI situation is causing the component crisis. We know it's not stopping anytime soon. If this continues at the rate it's going, like, at what point does Sony, and I guess the same could be said for Microsoft, but I'm really just thinking about Sony right now. At what point does Sony just say we have to regress, actually? Like, we have to somehow go backwards. And I guess what I mean by that is if it gets to a point where it's like we really can't produce PS5s, if it gets that bad, like it seems like it's on the verge of getting that bad. Do we see console gaming going backwards? Like basically looking at, I mean, I know it sounds kind of crazy, but it's kind of like looking at, no, see, I feel like you can't do that. You can't do that. That doesn't make any sense. I don't even know how you would go backwards at this point. Yeah, I don't know. Like, is it possible for Sony? I mean, look, I'm thinking like radical here, right? I made a joke like, here's the Xbox Series Super S. Like, could Sony do something like that where they're like, we're made this is a PS5S. I mean, they'll probably call it something else, but PS5 Lite or some shit. I don't know. But it's basically like older. It is like lesser hardware, so they could just continue to technically sell PlayStations. I don't know. I don't know, man. This it's such a weird situation to be in. The thing that's freaking me out about it is there every company and everybody involved is telegraphing the same thing. They're all telegraphing that this is going to go on for years. Like this is not stopping anytime soon. And I'm like, okay, that will literally kill the console business model. Unless you're Nintendo, because and that's where Nintendo, like, they really are, I think. Well, they're being affected too, clearly. It's just they're going to be the ones that feel it probably later on if it continues down this road. To where Sony and Microsoft are feeling it right up front. I don't know. I mean, they have all these plans in place. The PlayStation 6, the PlayStation 6 handheld. Um I just can't help but wonder like these plans have to be blowing up on them right now. Are they telegraphing because it's true, or are they telegraphing because they hope this will be true? Well, yeah, I don't know. That's a good point. Pushing polygons. Like, do we believe it? Do we believe that this issue is going to persist for multiple years? Michael, thank you, thank you for the jewels, bro. Let them cook. We have a direct donation from PS Contraband. He says, just out of curiosity, I joined the list to see if I'd get picked to buy a Steam machine. Got an email saying no, I'm only on the wait list to buy it next time. Oh, what's that? You want to pay us over $1,000 for this machine? Sorry, gonna have to wait. Wild, wild. What are we doing? What are we doing? How did it get to this point? Buttery Cheeks, member for 1 month, says, MBG, why do you think Sony is still tripling down on Marislop and Horizon Concord's Gathering? No way Marathon carries Bungie for years to come. Um, Honestly, I think the reason why Bungie or Sony is doubling down on it, or they're making it sound like they are, is because what other option do they have? You know, um, it's not like Sony's in a position where they can tell their shareholders like we can double the production of our single player games. They can't. They can say we're doubling down on our single player games. We're still committed to that. You know, um, but I don't know. I guess if you're in Sony's position, you probably don't. I guess it's just kind of like PR, you know, at some point where I read what Herman said, and Herman it's just PR nonsense, dude. Like like nothing he said in his response tells us anything. Like, oh, everybody should be proud. Like, just stop. God, like it's they always have to. I mean, it's just the way it is. It's the way the machine works. They have to put out these statements and all this stuff. But the reality of the situation is, it's just like Sony was dumb enough to buy them. Bungie here. So I almost feel a little bit of annoyance with the Destiny community, a little bit, because the Destiny community, not all of them, but I'm seeing portions of them where like they're blaming Sony. And I'm like, you guys don't understand. Like, Bungie is incompetent. Sony is, from a high business level, incompetent because they weren't able, they made an incompetent acquisition. Bungie is incompetent when it comes to making a video game at this point, a live service game. Like, it is so difficult for me, not difficult, but annoying to see Destiny players making it seem like Destiny 3 isn't happening because it's Sony's fault. And I'm like, are you guys fucking serious? I'm not even like, I'm the last person to defend Sony in this area, but it's like Bungie doesn't know what they're doing anymore. They literally apologize to Destiny players because they're like, we know we let you down. Destiny died because of Bungie. And frankly, if it wasn't for Sony acquiring them, Destiny probably would have been wrapped up a while ago because they had no choice. You had multiple developers and people within Bungie saying like, yeah, Sony's acquisition basically saved us from closing to a certain extent. And then but you look at what's happening now. It's like, what's Sony doing to them? They're basically slowly closing them. It's like the shit had already hit the fan, man. And I just think I think Destiny players need to wrap their heads around the truth that Destiny 3 isn't happening because Bungie doesn't know how to make Destiny 3. They don't know what to do. They don't know what the direction to go in. They couldn't save Destiny 2 to begin with. Having to do a Destiny 3 would mean having to not necessarily even start all over again, but you got to have something fresh to justify a Destiny 3. How are you going to do that when you couldn't even maintain Destiny 2? The freshest thing they could come up with was Marathon, and look at how that's going. Geez, you're saying Angry Joe crashed out on Bungie layoffs? He blames Sony? Really? Well, I've seen some interesting stuff lately. There was this one video I came across. Maybe I could check out Angry Joe's. There was this one video I came across where the title really caught my attention. I think it was from Paul Tassi. Let me see if I can bring it up here. So the title of his video is, "If Destiny 2 dies, Sony's live service plans die with it." That's a good title. That title really caught my eye because I'm like, I don't know about that one. Like, maybe I'm not convinced of that. Like, but it's putting so much on Bungie, dude. Like, I'm fascinated by this. Hold on, you're saying Angry Joe did one too, though. Let me see. I haven't watched Angry Joe in a long time, dude. Angry Joe. Breaking. Sony lays off 55% of Bungie. Blames Destiny. Angry rant. Oh man, hold on. I'm curious to check some of this out. I'm interested. I am interested. Why is this changing every day? Why is it change? I'm telling you, YouTube changed their ratios, bro. It's messing me up.
How? How did you fuck this up so bad, Sony? Guys, breaking news. It has just been revealed that Bungie has been hit officially. Widespread layoffs. Destiny 2 ends. Marathon continues, and they are laying off half of their workforce, more than half. It says here, article from Paul Tassi just went up on Forbes, that they are laying off between 40 to 55% of the studio. A legendary studio like Bungie. How did you fuck this up, Sony?
I mean, the buck does stop with Sony because Sony paid for that. I can't say I can't say you're wrong for saying, Sony, this is your fault, because it's like, well, Sony, you paid for this. You own them now. However, I mean, we got to call a spade here, and like, Bungie fucked themselves numerous times. Like, numerous times, bro. And Sony's just over there like, why did we buy these guys? Interesting. I don't know. Well, I mean, it's interesting because he's coming at it from the angle of like, Bungie's a legendary studio. I mean, I don't know when was the last time people really. No, I blame Sony, dude. Don't take that angle. Like, I'm not saying Sony deserves the flack they're getting. I want to make it clear. Like, from an outside looking in perspective, it's like, sorry Sony, you fucking, this is what you paid for. You know, you took the chance. You let Jim sign a $3.6 billion acquisition with these guys. The shit hits the fan. You get the whole kit and caboodle here. However, I do believe that when we're truly trying to evaluate like what led to Bungie's demise, I mean, the fact of the matter is, like, Bungie fucked themselves, dude. Here's the problem. If Sony inherited a completely impotent Bungie, right? And they're just totally not capable of doing anything anymore. And they've been mismanaged to oblivion. And it's like, how is this even salvageable? Sony is literally the last company that should have inherited that, because they're just like, they're deer in headlights. Like, wait, Bungie, we bought you to help us, not the other way around. So it truly, I've said this numerous times, and I will continue to say this, the Bungie Sony acquisition it's a match made in hell, dude. It really is, where it's like, under no circumstances should this have happened, but it did. And so it's like, I can kind of understand from a certain perspective where, like, maybe people look at Sony and they're like, you should still support these guys no matter what. Like, you shouldn't go in this direction. I mean, the reason why I find that hard to grasp is because it's like, but they did. They gave them years to try to pick things back up with Destiny 2, and they gave them all their support with Marathon, and look at what happened. I guess I'm just saying, like, I don't know that I can really feel too bad, not bad, but like, I don't know that I can really place all the blame on Sony, which is like, oh, Sony, you don't want to let them make a Destiny 3? Here's what I want to know. Somebody knows. We need to get info from the inside somewhere. With all these reports on Destiny, we need to get info. Why isn't Destiny 3 happening? Jason Schreier said it's a money thing. And I'm like, there's no way it's just a money thing. I think Bungie doesn't know what to do. I'm telling you, I think maybe I'm wrong about this, but I think eventually we're going to learn that on the inside of Bungie, they are fucking clueless, dude. They are truly the deer in headlights at this point. We're at, like, all these Destiny fans are like, we want Destiny 3, we want Destiny 3. And they're like, we don't even know what that means. I've seen this happen before, dude. You guys remember Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2? Legendary Battlefield games. Incredible. years and years and years went by. Everybody was like, make Bad Company 3. What the fuck are you doing? Make Bad Company 3. And eventually they just had to come out and say, like, we don't know what that even means anymore. We don't know how to do that. We don't know what made Bad Company 1 and 2 good, and we're just clueless. And so we're not even going to bother. I really think it's one of those situations where it's like, oh, what the fuck? Like, what do you mean? It's like, yeah, we don't even know. We don't even know how we made that. We lost the sauce, bro. We lost the secret recipe. Hold on, I got a couple of super chats here. I'm a little bit behind. Josh, you're saying, I know that it sounds crazy to stop manufacturing consoles, but it is literally what I would do. The floor of specs is higher than ever, especially for casual gamers. So much pointless waste. I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, are we reaching a point, Josh, where it's like, all right, break out the PS5S. That's it. Like, we have to go backwards with specs. All the devs making your game, sorry. It's crazy. But you're not wrong. You're not wrong, Josh. The casual gamer more than ever, I mean, yeah, like, it's not that people can't necessarily afford to buy hardware at this point, but it's just all they can what most people can realistically afford at this point is like something much cheap, not just cheaper, but like spec wise, you're really getting something that's not up to snuff, I guess you could say. It's not up to what the standard of what you expect games to be doing on like a $400 or $500 device. So I saw all yesterday. I was talking about this. People were like, man, I got my PS5 Pro for steal. My launch Series X steal. I'm like, yeah, at this point you can't deny that. Shadowlink with a $10 chat says, when you are doing a job and you fail at it, do you blame yourself or your boss after years of doing the same thing? They were sold from 2 other publishers. Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying, Shadowlink. Like, I'm not trying to, again, like, I think Sony deserves an immense amount of blame, but in a different regard. It's like, I feel like it's 2 separate things. You have Sony, who stepped in and said, we want to buy you, not because we want to guide you and help you and improve you, but actually because we need you to do that for us with live service because we have no idea what we're doing. Bungie said, yeah, we can do that. Just here's how much we want. And we can do that for you, Sony. We can make that happen. And then, then the deal went through. And then, Sony was like, okay, let's get to work. And Bungie's like, so we're kind of dying. Can you help us? And that, like, I'm telling you, what I just described right there, that's exactly what happened. Sony got finessed. Like, the greatest failure on Sony's part is they got, I mean, dude, they were tricked. If you go back, and I might bring it up, go read the interviews with Jim Ryan and Herman Hulst and how fucking excited they were. Bungie sold this grand future with them. They were talking about transmedia, Destiny movies, future Destiny's going to be bigger than ever. I mean, Sony was on fucking cloud 9. They were like, this is amazing. We got it. This is better than the Activision deal. Jim literally thought that. I'm like, oh my God. Somebody got fucking steamrolled. It's bad. It's bad, man. But yeah, at the end of the day, there are some developers working at Bungie apparently that are saying, like, you need to fire the leadership team at Bungie. You need to fire the C-suite, all this shit. And I'm like, you're getting like Deb saying that, man. That's not good. That's spooky. Jimmy Mack, you're saying Bungie is a catastrophic failure for Sony. Bungie cost the same as ABK did for Microsoft, which was roughly 2.5% of both Microsoft and Sony's market cap per deal. I agree. Yeah, I mean, but this is why, like, dude, I had this tweet. I didn't put this tweet out. It's actually saved in my drafts, but I want to read it to you guys. Maybe I'll put it out later on. But it was just some thoughts I had. I said Sony clearly made a very big mistake acquiring Bungie. It's been nothing but bad news for both parties, and it is a little depressing to think we still have to continue to watch it slowly crumble and decay for who knows how long. I don't see any upside here for either party. Now, I didn't put that out yet, but that's how I feel. You know, it's like, how long are we gonna have to watch this slowly burn? I just don't know. I don't. I mean, I guess from Sony's perspective, they're like, we need to try to do something. We spend all this money. We can't get anything out of this. And I'm like, I don't know, dude. I think the answer might be, yeah, you can't get shit out of this, Sony. You can't get shit out of it. I'll continue the video a little bit here, though. Let's see. I don't know if I'm going to watch the whole. I mean, every time I watch these videos, they're so long. Let's see.
How? You've seen that Destiny 2 is way more popular than fucking Marathon. And honestly, it's not even Marathon's fault. Marathon should never have been put
in the forefront.
Right, as the thing to hold Bungie up. You should have been working on more Destiny 2, Destiny 3. Why would you spend $3.6 billion and then rely on live service alone in an extraction shooter that is a segment of a segment? And now,
so he's not wrong, but this is where, again, like, this is where you can clearly see Sony has no fucking idea what they're doing. Like, I think what needs to be understood here, like, at least this is my understanding, Bungie was the one who sold Sony on Marathon. Like we have to understand that Sony doesn't know what they're looking at. They just see the numbers. And from my understanding, Bungie effectively sold Sony on Marathon, convincing them extraction shooter is the next battle royale, bro. Trust us, this is the next big thing. Like, I know you'll get that. Yeah, we'll still support Destiny, and we still got big plans for Destiny, but trust us, Marathon's a thing. And it became, like, very clear as we were building up to the reveal and especially the launch of Marathon that it's like, why aren't people getting more excited for this? And it's like, yeah, so it turns out everything we said about Marathon and extraction shooters, no, that's not it at all. I'm telling you, it's. I mean, I can kind of understand where Angry Joe's coming from, because it's like, Sony, you should have had the wisdom and the foresight to stop this, and maybe that's true. But what that would require is Sony to have an actual understanding of the live service space and which games are hitting, why they're hitting, which games are not hitting, why they're not hitting, and based off what we saw with Concord, Sony had no idea. I think the most disturbing thing about all of this, when it's all said and done, putting Bungie aside, me viewing it from a more Sony perspective, is it is genuinely shocking and disturbing how unaware Sony, their C-suite, and the people who are in charge of managing their studios and their game business sector and all that, how they just, like, seem so fucking clueless about what makes live service successful, like what it is that people want from a live service title, why certain things tick, or what makes certain things tick, and what has led to their success. Sony's lack of understanding in that regard, I think, cannot be understated. And that, yeah, if you're Sony and Bungie tells you, like, trust us, we're working on this game Marathon, this is our next big thing, and it's going to be an extraction shooter, and Sony, listen to us, we're the experts. Extraction shooters are the next battle royale. It's going to be the next big thing, and we're already ahead of it. I'm telling you, that's how the conversations went. I fucking promise you. And Sony was just like, Herman Hulse was like, oh, yes, this sounds amazing. And Jim fucking clueless Ryan, you're talking about, dude, this guy, he doesn't even play video games. He's like, yeah, oh, man, he's like, Herman, you hear these guys? Oh, Microsoft has no idea what they let go. And I'm telling you, this is exactly what happened. This is exactly why we're watching the situation play out the way it is. I'm laughing, but it's really, if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. Buttery Cheeks, you're saying MBG as someone who never clicked with Destiny, I always felt salty about Bungie walking away from Halo, and I despise Marathon. I see this as karma. Damn. You know what the craziest thing about all of this is? If I'm not mistaken, Bungie left Microsoft, and Microsoft let them go because they wanted to make Destiny and not more Halo. And Microsoft was like, "Are you out of your minds? You're making Halo." And they're like, "No, we're not. We want to make this." And so there was this kind of like amicable departure, I guess, where they're like, "Okay, you go do your thing." And it's interesting to think that Destiny could be a first party Microsoft property, and who knows how differently things would. I could tell you right now, like, it doesn't guarantee that the outcome would have been different if Microsoft let them make Destiny. It could have been the same, but I don't know. Maybe that would have been the better way to go about it, because Bungie, ever since they went on their own, man, I think Bungie got too big for their own good. I think Bungie got a bloated ego. I think they really believed they were bigger than they truly were, and it all kind of came around. And I mean, yeah, you use the word karma. I mean, I feel like maybe to a small extent, not necessarily for the devs, but for the higher ups. And obviously, we know the devs end up suffering from poor leadership and management decision making. Be a member for 30 months, says, "Guys, let's form our own shit game studio and convince Sony to buy us for $100 million." You know what, Be a Med? I fucking hate to say it, but like that, what you just described, I think is literally what happened between 2019 and 2023. I'm not even kidding. Like, there's just like all these startups and everybody's looking to buy. I mean, Be a Med, I think we're late to this one, though. We're too late. Blonde, you're saying PlayStation will continue to invest in games because Sony believes they can help grow the gaming market and keep players connected for years. Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I just covered today in my video Hideaki Nishino, the current president of SIE. He's saying they're not. He's saying, "Oops, forgot to add live service games to grow." No, I know what you're talking about. He confirmed, like, they're not giving up on live service. But I mean, surely Nishino's approach is going to be different. How could it not be? I mean, he has Jim Ryan's ghost, lingering still to remind him of what not to do. Wabu Dude, a member for 21 months, says, "The mold of Jim Ryan continues to fester." Yes. Yes. I said ghost. You said mold. They both work. All right. Let me, and Perfect Image with a direct donation says, "Hey, MB Gangsta, I think Sony never knew what they were doing with live service, because if that's the case, SOCOM would be here. That's why they, wait, that's why there are a B gang." I don't know what that last part meant, but I agree generally with what you're saying. Perfect Image. I do think if Sony had any, we've been talking about this for a long time. It's like, there's nothing wrong with Sony wanting to have some successful live service. There's nothing wrong with this. What's been so wrong about it is Sony doesn't understand. For some reason, they still just don't get it, where it's like, you should look at your history a little bit and understand that you had some of these successful multiplayer properties. Now, they may not have been mega hits, ultra successful, and there's no guarantee that they would be that today. But I have tried, like, I've said this numerous times. Oh, you're saying Sony's a B minus. Gotcha. Oh, yeah, true. We talked about that yesterday. I've tried to express this, and I could not be more clear with, like, I don't, obviously Sony isn't listening to me. Why would they? But I can only try my best to just express it here, at least to you guys and everybody else, that I promise you, like Sony, I can promise you one thing. All right. You make Bungie make a SOCOM game. You make Bungie make a Resistance game, a Killzone game. I don't care. Make them fucking make Mag. Mag 2. I fucking promise you that will go down better than probably anything else that's happened with Bungie since you've acquired them. I can't promise you it'll be a massive monolithic live service success, but to be honest, looking at the state you're in right now, looking at the state that Bungie's in, I don't think you guys need to worry about that. You need to worry about surviving. You need to worry about making sure your fucking studio doesn't completely dissolve. That's what you need to worry about. Get your head out of the clouds. We're not chasing Fortnite. You're not even chasing Rainbow Six Siege at this point. Okay? Like, this is where Sony needs to get a reality check. But whoever's leading the ship at Bungie, reality check time. I don't give a shit how boo-hoo we don't want to make that here at Bungie. No, you will fucking make a SOCOM, you bitch. This is how I would. This is how I'm telling you. If I was the head, if I was Herman Hulst, I'd literally kick the door down at Bungie and be like, "I'm in charge now, okay? Y'all don't know what the fuck you're doing. I'm gonna tell you what to do. You're making a SOCOM. And you're gonna make it fucking good. You're gonna make it great. I'm out. Peace. I'm going back to my yacht." No, but that's literally what I would do. I'd say you guys are making a SOCOM. You know, take your pick. SOCOM, Killzone, Resistance. Which one? Which one? And there you go. Like, I just saved your studio. I made sure I just saved Bungie from, like, completely dissolving. We're done with Marathon. I'm concording Marathon. We're shooting it to the sun. It's out. You tried, didn't work, whatever. You're reviving a PlayStation property because we have millions of PlayStation players that would be excited for that. And I get it. It's like, but aren't there millions of Destiny players that'd be excited for Destiny 3? Yes, but I'm smart enough to know when I look at Bungie, Destiny's over. Like, that's the thing. It's over. Where is the proof? Hold on. Before I start screaming, I'm going to look it up myself. Did Bungie ever express interest in making a Destiny 3? Let's see. Bungie's development teams have pitched and prototyped ideas for the franchise, but a full Destiny 3 has never been greenlit or placed in active production. Now, it says here, development costs and resource allocation forced Bungie to end active updates to Destiny 2. Bungie's pitching process, prototypes, no greenlight, focus on Marathon. Here we go. Community and executive challenges. This is what the AI is telling me. Reports indicate that Sony, who acquired Bungie in 2022, has been highly hesitant to greenlight or fund a project with the massive scale of Destiny 3. Come on. Everybody's out here doing this investigative journalism for Bungie right now. Somebody needs to get in contact with somebody at Bungie who would know why, like, what truly is stopping Destiny 3 from happening. Is it truly Sony being like, absolutely not, we're never allowing that? Meanwhile, you have like hundreds and hundreds of devs. Like, they're like, come on, they're like chomping at the bit. We want to make Destiny 3. Let us make Destiny 3. And Sony's like, no, you will make Marathon. You will keep supporting Marathon. Bitches, that's what you're going to do. Is it really that? Because I don't believe that. I'm like, dude, Sony would be stupid if that was the case. Like, if we find out by the end of this, Sony is forcing Bungie to try to save Marathon, then Sony is stupid. It's like, okay, Sony, you've learned nothing. My God. You've learned absolutely nothing to a shocking degree. It would be so shocking that I'm like, I just don't believe that. Why couldn't the last few updates for Marathon save it? Or Destiny 2? Why did the last few updates for Destiny 2 not make enough money? Is it possible that Destiny 2 was just a financial sinkhole, ultimately? And that's maybe what scared Sony off. I'm just saying, dude, if I'm Sony, I'm grabbing the bull by the horns. I'm not fucking around. I'm not listening to no crybaby Destiny players. I don't care. Say, hey, all you Destiny players, yeah, you were supporting Bungie when they were with Activision and when they were solo. They're with me now. I'm Sony. And you know what Sony want to do? I want to make another Killzone. I want to expand the Killzone universe. Herman's coming in with a vengeance. He's like, they never gave Killzone a chance. Now's the opportunity. Herman, now's the opportunity. Knowing Herman. Next announcement from Bungie announcing Horizon. God, what would the name be? Horizon Endless fucking Endless Strife or some shit like that. And it's a fucking first person shooter. It's literally Destiny, but in the Horizon universe. It'd probably still go down better. Anyway. Direct donation from Alan. He says, so Bungie should walk away from one of the biggest games of all time to make SOCOM that sold 12 million over 7 games. LOL, what an idiot. I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you this right now. We need to look at what's actually happening in front of us. Okay? Bungie is burning. They've been on fire for like 4 straight years. They've burnt so badly that now the studio is like half of what they used to be. Literally, they've been cut almost in half. I'm just suggesting a path here where you're never going to get back probably to the height of Destiny's success. I think Sony and Bungie would be wise to accept that's probably not happening. Because nobody's considering the alternative here. Nobody's considering, well, what if they tried Destiny 3 and fucked it up and it fails? Nobody's talking about that. Everybody's too focused on the fact that it's not being given a chance. But it's like, again, if you look at what's laid out on the table in front of us, you look at how Destiny 2 ended with a whimper, and I'm not just talking about Destiny 2 like, oh, you know, the player numbers by the very end were lower. No, like they were pumping out expansions. They were doing everything that they were supposed to be doing, and it wasn't enough to save Destiny 2. Jason Schreier released a video saying why Destiny died. Did he literally just release that video? Or is that already out? Because I'll have to check that out too. I don't know, man. Maybe I am an idiot when it comes to business sense, but it's like I'm just looking at it from the perspective of I know that SOCOM didn't sell incredibly well. But why couldn't that work? When there's definitely SOCOM players, and I would even go as far to say that there's probably just generally an audience that would definitely pay attention to like a Bungie developed tactical modern military shooter. I mean, I don't know how people couldn't pay attention. I'd be like, whoa, okay, so Bungie, well, this is fucking different. What's going on here? What's this? I feel like Destiny 3, it's got too much baggage. I don't even know where you come up with ideas for Destiny 3 at this point. I don't know, man. It cannot be understated. It cannot be understated that Bungie fucked this whole thing up, dude. I'm saying that because there does need to be accountability that goes in all directions. It needs to go where it needs to go. But fucking Warframe outlived Destiny. Warframe, guys. Warframe found a way to be sustainable, and Bungie couldn't with Destiny. This is why, to be honest, this is why I'm like, I don't give a fuck if Bungie shuts down. Like, what the fuck have they been good for in a long, like, I'm serious. Like, all I've heard, truthfully, like, even for the time where Destiny was succeeding, all I would come across is people complaining about how they're just fucking money. They're gouging them. Like, oh, Bungie basically expects us to pay $100 per expansion. Like, essentially, to get the real content. It's like, are we just going to pretend that none of this happened and existed? Like, we're just going to pretend that there isn't an actual reason for the downfall of Destiny as a fucking property? Now, I do think, again, Sony had, they had money symbols in their eyes, thinking, what if we could do that? What if we could get that? Little did they know, people are getting tired of it, man. Cheese, you're saying Death Stranding sold terrible, so are you saying Sony should cut ties with Kojima, grabbing the bull by the horns? If that's the logic. No, I do think they did grab the bull by the horns. They fucking sat Kojima's ass down and were like, Kojima, listen. Did you hear the interview where Kojima recently said that he tried pitching this OD game to other publishers and they were like, you're crazy? I guarantee you Sony was one of these. He said that, if I'm not mistaken, Kojima just said recently that Destiny 1 was not Destiny 1, Jesus. Death Stranding 1. Destiny 1 was inspiration. No, Death Stranding 1, he said that like certain things with OD, like that was supposed to be Death Stranding originally. And it seems like Sony may have denied his original pitch. Sony sat Kojima's ass down and said, we want to make another game with you, Kojima-san. We really do. You're going to have to, like, can you just make another action espionage game? Can you do that? What do you think? We'll give you a massive budget. We'll give you whatever you want. You can hire actors the whole nine, but can you make something more like kind of what you're known for? And to me, that is Sony grabbing the bull by the horns, or at least trying to, be a little bit more assertive, where it's like, if we're expected to fund this game after funding 2 of your games, and yeah, Death Stranding 2 did not sell all that great. I don't think that game even broke even, to be honest. Yeah, we need you to make something that's actually going to sell. And Kojima didn't deny this. Kojima, in interviews that we've covered, when he would talk about his upcoming projects, when he would talk about Fizzant, he would say, like, yeah, when I make certain decisions, I also have to make more business-oriented decisions. I have to think about the health of the studio and everything. I'm like, yeah, you do. Because you make nothing but crazy decisions that don't sell and don't produce results with the entirety of your studio, with every project. How are you going to sustain your studio? So, I mean, I understand that, we're talking about the constant butting up against creativity versus the more business-oriented side. But I don't know. I just, look, maybe I am dumb for saying that Bungie should make a SOCOM or a Killzone or something. But I'm just like, what? I look at Bungie right now and I'm like, they're on life support. Like, they're on life support, man. The head of Bungie, the guy that was appointed the head of Bungie, I don't even remember his name, Justin something, a year ago, when they had this whole, like, we're going to do great things. He fucking stepped down. He quit. He's like, I'm out. This is a nightmare. I'm to be honest, I just think Bungie can't be saved. I'll say this. This might go as an unpopular opinion with some PlayStation players, but I mean this. If Bungie can be saved, Sony's not the one to save them. Sony can't save them. Sony's the last one to be trying to save Bungie. Who could save Bungie? You tell me. Send them back to Microsoft. Send them back to, you know what? Fuck it. Send them back to, sell them to Microsoft to be like, hey, put them on Halo. But could that work? I mean, is that the worst outcome? Sony can save them with their money. I mean, anybody can save Bungie with their money. Fred, yeah, be careful with that headline. That came out already, by the way. Sturdy Palette with a $2 direct donation says, over its lifetime, Destiny made over $3 billion. Warframe currently has made roughly $1 billion. Maybe being smaller helped them at Warframe. Well, I mean, I will say, like, maybe a genuine alternative here. Maybe what Sony is kind of hinting, or maybe they just have to straight up tell them, like, Destiny 3's got to be smaller. Maybe that's the future for Bungie. Is it's like, you guys can do whatever you want. It's got to be way, way, way smaller. That's interesting. Easy Tone, a member for 5 months, says, once again, I need to remind that Bungie was involved in killing The Last of Us Online. I don't want Naughty Dog to be a live service studio, but it would have been a hit for sure. God, man, here's where I stand with The Last of Us Online. Not going to go on some diatribe about it. It's sitting there somewhere in a drive at Naughty Dog. I just really hope that Naughty Dog is wise enough to not let it just rot. Not saying you got to make a live service, not saying it's got to be a standalone game, but for the love of God, when you do, because we know you will, Naughty Dog, when you do something more with The Last of Us, please just give us a proper Factions 2, like we were owed, frankly, back with The Last of Us Part 2. That was supposed to be part of the package, and you took it out because you said you were going to make it bigger and better, which sounded great. I just hope that eventually we get, frankly, I think the Factions community is owed that, at the very least. Doesn't have to be right now, but down the line. I should probably continue this video. I've just had Angry Joe paused for a long time.
Now hundreds of talented people and really good game developers are losing their fucking jobs. Yeah. Because the fucking suits and the higher-ups are greedy and incompetent fucks.
Yeah, Bungie used to have over 1,600 employees. There was layoffs down to about 1,300, then down to 800, and this will take them down to 400.
I am so tired of the higher-ups making such bad decisions, and then it's the people who make our games and the people who are creative that get fucked up. They get golden parachutes.
Yeah. Dude, I'm sorry. It's like funny, like, what is that? Other Joe? Is that his name? Like, they're in the background like, fuck, man. Like, they're about to start, like, breaking shit. We gotta go fuck these guys up. Man. Well, yeah, no, I don't disagree. The higher ups, yeah, the hype men.
While you lose your job, and
Whoa.
People tell me, oh, we don't need to look at this. We don't need to regulate. We don't need to have people, have job security. None of that. Just let corporations do what corporations do, which is just make money at the cost of everything else. Even when they had record profits. Now, this has a $700 million impairment loss, but even when they're making record profits, they lay people off. They lay people off when they make losses. They lay people off when they have profits. That's
true.
What a corporation is meant to do, make money. They don't give a fuck about people, but it just blows me away how they don't have a project. And Paul Tazzi confirmed this behind the scenes. There's no project green lit behind the scenes to make up for this. That's why they're getting rid of people, because they know Marathon can't fucking...
Why does he keep bringing that mask out?
Marathon makes $20 a day on their stupid fucking purple skins and knife skins. It's not going to fucking hold up Bungie. So here's the fucking statement. With great sadness, we are announcing a reduction in a force as we reorganize Bungie. As the leaders of Bungie, that
use it for his marathon review.
Past and
that
present,
what
we
the statement
recognize
said?
Destiny 2 fell short of expectations. Bro, what? What? It was one of the most popular FPS MMOs. How long did you think Destiny 2 was going to last? 15 years?
Yes. Dude, I'm just laughing because I'm imagining Herman like, yes, that's what they made it sound like. That's why we bought them. Oh man.
Like, I don't understand this, Joe. Now you're blaming Destiny 2 fans? Fuck you!
Well, hold on. So the one thing that I think Angry Joe might be missing here, and this is important to understand. Again, it's still on Sony for it's like, why would you agree to this? Why would you agree to this? The one thing he's actually leaving out here that everybody should understand to get a better, well-rounded understanding of what is actually going on here. When Sony acquired Bungie, one of the things that Bungie basically ensured is autonomy. And I mean quite literally, like I don't know if you guys remember, but one of the only ways Bungie was going to agree to be purchased by Sony, and this is how you know Sony got finessed to the nth degree, is they were like, yeah, we're like a subsidy. We're not like part of PlayStation Studios. You don't tell us what to do. We still run our own shit. And what that means is Bungie had their own C-suite, their own board of executives. They were doing their own they were basically their own company. You know? This is why it has been so catastrophic, because Sony, now I'm not saying Sony could have made that much of a difference. They probably couldn't have. But Sony was very limited in what they were able to do. And so basically the way it worked is, yeah, in 2024, like when the shit really started to hit the fan, that's when like Sony was like, okay, we need to step in now. But this is why I'm trying to say that, like, if you look at the sequence of events, basically what happens is Bungie tries to run their own shit their own way at a time when they're in trouble. And it goes to hell very quickly. Multiple years goes by. A lot of money lost, a lot of layoffs. Bungie trying to do everything they can to save their own studio. It's not working. It finally reaches that point where now Sony can come in. But again, the fact that it even reached that point, it's like, what are we doing here, Sony? You bought these guys to help you, not for you to save them. So now it's like, shocker, Sony couldn't save them either. I don't know. So Angry Joe's thing here is he's really upset at the idea that that Sony's like kind of blaming Destiny. Like, oh yeah, Destiny is it just wasn't making enough money, and there wasn't enough. I don't know, man. Like, I might have to do. I'm gonna have to do my own deep dive on this, because I just like, do I have a fundamental misunderstanding of Destiny? Because, like, I'm telling you, man, for the last, like, 5 years, I feel like Destiny's just been going downhill. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I don't know. I'm not a Destiny player, but I just feel like every time I would hear people talk about Destiny, not just now, I mean, I'm talking, like, over the last 5 years, it's always been nothing but ire, frustration, getting pissed at Bungie's greed and all this stuff. They're fucking up, they're like sunsetting shit they shouldn't be. All this stuff. Now I'm like, I don't know. I mean, Cooked Ham with a $2 direct donation says, wait, Microsoft allows its studios to be autonomous. When it goes bad, it equals Microsoft's fault. Sony allows Bungie autonomy equals Bungie's fault. Hypocritical much. No, it's just the way it goes, man. Cooked Ham, it's the way it goes. Like, at the end of the day, whoever owns who, it falls on them. That comes with the ownership. But when we're in the weeds of this stuff, you know, it's like, okay, so who really shit? It's like when we talk about Blue Point. Like, who shit the bed here? They both did. Is it Sony's? Like, the buck stops with Sony. Sony's the one who dropped the, the guillotine on Blue Point. But it's like, how did we get here? Well, a combination of incompetence. Sony gets one of the best remake studios in the industry and says, all right, guys, what are your ideas? And they say, being the geniuses they are, we were thinking about a God of War live service. And then Sony, being the geniuses they are, said, that's a good idea. And then everybody's sad when it ends in fucking disaster. Where it's like, where's the person, the singular person, who should have enough power to step in and be like, whoa, 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 whoa. Are we sure this is a good idea, or is this fucking stupid? You know? And that person, it's like for the last 7 years, and it's not even just with PlayStation, it's just generally speaking, it's like that person's just gone. Those people are gone. They're just missing. Nobody's coming in and saying, you shouldn't do this because it's stupid and it will backfire. It is a very bad decision. So it's not so, I wouldn't say it's so much about hypocrisy as much as it's just about trying to understand, like, who's really at fault here. And truthfully, yeah, at the end of the day, if somebody sells and somebody buys, the buyer is inheriting the you're purchasing the responsibility. This is why I'm saying, like, I can't blame, like, let Sony get the heat, dude. I'm not Sony. Like, let them get the heat for Bungie. But I'm just trying to understand. Like, I'm told all the time, like, oh, yeah, you're not getting a new Killzone or Resistance or SOCOM or shit like that because nobody cared about that. They didn't sell well or anything. And I'm like, all right, well, there's got to be a reason why Destiny 3 is not happening. Because I'll tell you what, if Sony really thought they could make money on Destiny 3, they would say yes. Sony, like, I think that's what people kind of tend to forget here is, like, Sony wants money. They would say yes to it. But they're not. Why? I think that Destiny players are starting to get in their heads a little bit where they're thinking, like, Sony wants to spite you. Like, Sony doesn't want to give you a Destiny 3 because they don't like you. They don't like Bungie either. And I'm like, I don't think so, dude. There's something underneath the surface here that is, like, something's not adding up. I don't know. I don't know. Wabu, dude, you're saying, MBG, check out Jason Schreier's video about why Destiny died. A lot of insight about the downfall. Love seeing Angry Joe with that blue box energy. Yeah. I'll watch this for a few more minutes and then maybe we'll go check that out. There's another video. There's a bunch of stuff I want to react to. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to all of it, but
recognize that Destiny 2 fell short. Following our final content update to Destiny 2 and with our future projects still in early incubation,
They got shit.
ain't got shit, man. You fucking lying. We unfortunately could not continue operating at our previous size. We know that this decision has a profound impact on the people affected, their families, friends, and teammates. Then why the motherfucking, what's this guy's name? I don't remember his name. Why does he get the golden parachute? While these changes are necessary to best position the studio now and for the future, that doesn't lessen the difficulty of this moment or the impact it has on those affected. Later, we will share more about that future with you all today, but today is not that day. Today, everybody needs to be sad for the people we're laying off. Well, we make hand over
Reorganize for the
fist
fucking top.
money.
That's
yeah,
what
I
we
know.
do.
I know.
Later, we
Jeez,
will
I
share
know.
more-
I know.
No, I already said that. Fucking today, we wish to extend our gratitude and compassion to every member of the Bungie team who has been impacted, and those who remain. We hope you will do the same. They're trying to, have some semblance of, try to be somber about the moment, try to be consolatory, because, I mean, when they previously laid people off, I don't remember if this is Sony or if it was EA, it was just basically bye.
An email.
Yeah, exactly. It was more insulting than that. But
Oracle
this
was the
doesn't
worst.
help.
It's
Jason?
so fucked up because he's like, all right, well, hey, sorry for my mistake, but we have to let you go. I was like, what the fuck? Yeah, it's your fault.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
it's near criminal mismanagement.
It
Now,
is.
Jason Schreier's
Wait, hold on.
confirmed that it's the majority of the Destiny team, much of the marathon.
All right, so you guys are telling me there's a video from Jason Schreier. Let me see if I can find this one, because I know he made a channel. Is it the Why Everyone Wants a Live Service game? How things got so bad at Xbox? Oh, why? Oh, it's the first one. Why Destiny died. Hold on.
One day back in 2014, 12 years ago, I was in the Kotaku offices down in Soho. It was September, and we got a bunch of game discs from Activision.
Thank you, Wabu dude.
And Tina Amini, who was an editor at the time, she said to me, hey, do you want a copy of this game, Destiny? We have a spare disc over here. I was like, sure, I'll check it out. I'll go pop it in for a half hour. It's not really my type of game. I don't really play first-person shooters, but I'll go check it out. And I brought it home, and I popped it in.
The 13-minute mark? All right, thank you.
2 months later,
Thank
I
you.
had roughly 500 hours in Destiny. It took over my life. It was a very special game called Payback. That was a Destiny franchise thing. It was going to be this third person kind of like Genshin Impact style inspired project that Luke Smith was helming with executive producer Mark Noseworthy. That winds up getting canceled. And at this point, I think the big question, or I guess what fans assumed, was that after the final shape, since Destiny 2 felt like it was at its natural endpoint, that there would be a Destiny 3 that started to spin up at that point. But here's the thing. Here's the thing about doing a Destiny 3. It's extremely expensive. The prices of making games, the budgets of making games have gone up so extraordinarily and exponentially over even the last 5 years, let alone the last 15 years since Destiny first started, that like what was a $500 million, this is me estimating and pulling numbers out. So like, don't hold to, this is not an exact science or reporting or anything, but like, just to kind of put this in context, the $500 million that Activision spent on Destiny as an entire like 10-year plan for multiple games and expansions. I think 4 games and 4 expansions at the time. That was like supposed to be $500 million. That would be what it would take to make a Destiny 3 from scratch, essentially. And that's like before marketing. So we're talking about crazy amounts of money. And that is for a very good reason, which is that salaries have to go up because cost of living have gone up. And even though Bungie is a remote first studio, their office and a lot of their people are based in the Seattle suburbs, which is extremely expensive. Any coastal city is very expensive to make games in these days, which is why we're seeing a larger trend of game developers moving out of the US, out of North America, which maybe I'll talk about in a future video. I'm a YouTuber now. And so that's a problem. And I think Sony, especially after the last couple of years and not quite hitting where they want to hit with some of these games, having to cancel a lot of projects, lay off a lot of people, I think don't have the appetite for that kind of expenditure. Certainly not in 2024 and certainly not now. So the idea of them spending $500 million again before marketing, which could be, who knows, another $100 million, I have no idea, but like that's a crazy amount of money, and the number of copies you would have to sell to make a profit on that is pretty high. It's pretty significant. So we're talking about a climate where like it wasn't really possible for them to get Destiny 3 off the ground. So instead they had this loose plan of like, okay, we're going to take Destiny 2, we're going to keep doing updates and expansions, like smaller scale expansions than Final Shape, and hopefully we're going to make it more approachable to people. That's kind of the vague, like long-term plan is find a way to maybe make it easier for new players to come in, because that was a big problem in Destiny 2. It still is, that if you log in as a new player, it is completely overwhelming and intimidating, and most of the story has been stripped out because they actually had to
NBG,
remove
just
content
make so
over
calm.
the years. For I believe they said
you
because
win,
it would
Sony.
take too much of space on your hard drive if they kept everything in there. So they removed a
Or do
bunch
you
of
have any
expansions
idea
over the
how
years and
expensive it's
content
gonna be? Just
that was
make
in
it.
the game. So at
I'm
that
becoming
point,
like
I
Steve
mean,
Ballmer.
and also Bungie
All
was
sweaty.
putting all of their effort, all their resources into Marathon, which would launch a couple
Not
of
that
years
that's what
later.
Steve Ballmer sounds like.
So at that point, Destiny is in this really weird position where it seems to have ended, and most certainly casual fans look at it and say, oh, okay, the final shape, Destiny 2 is over, but it's still going. And then throughout 2025, it gets a couple more just kind of updates, including a Star Wars themed update, and none of them really hit the way that final shape did, that's for sure. And Destiny 2's player base is dwindling pretty significantly. So now we're at this point where we are now, which is that Bungie decided earlier this year, a few months ago, they knew that this was going to happen, that this was going to be the last update in June. So where are we now? Now, Bungie, I think a lot of people there are hoping for the best, bracing for layoffs. Obviously, they want to keep Marathon going. They just announced Season 2. They just released a trailer, for Season 2 earlier this morning. And they're just trying to figure out what's next. They're pitching, they're prototyping Destiny stuff. At least one other interesting thing they're pitching and prototyping, and I just don't know what happens from there. It's very hard to imagine, again, Sony being willing to say, okay, yes, we will greenlight this $300, $400, $500 million project in this market. And I mean, another piece of context that I didn't even mention, but I think if you follow the games industry, you probably know, is just that it's so hard for pretty much any game to hit in this market. I mean, we're talking about an influx of, just this week as I'm recording this, we have like Mina the Hollower and 007 First Light, these two killer games,
I think SOCOM
incredible games, all coming out, just surrounded by an influx of other smaller games that most people have never heard of. I mean, there's so many games. I believe on Steam, it was more than 20,000 games were released last year, just to put things in perspective. And then on top of that, a lot of people are just sticking with their old games, Fortnite and Minecraft and Roblox and Call of Duty, games that are just forever.
All right. Well, so yeah, it was interesting to hear him talk about this because he pretty much just laid it out. It's kind of what I suspected. It sounds to me like Bungie is in this position where they have to completely reset. But Sony, what's interesting about the way Jason Schreier talked about it is Sony does seem to be putting them in this position where it's like, it's not that they won't greenlight something for them, but it's like you need to come to us with a project that's going to be within a realistic budgetary constraint. And that, like, this is where I don't know, I find it fascinating where maybe that singular piece of information might reveal why Bungie's in the position they're in. Because, like, is it possible that Bungie overall just like overspent? Like they just like, they're like, yeah, whatever it costs, just keep going. As long as we keep Destiny 2 going, like, it'll be fine. We'll always figure it out. To whereas, like, now that Sony's taken over and Destiny 2 is, basically has been dwindling, they're like, yeah, no, we can't take that approach. I mean, you do have to start to ask the question, like, at what point does Bungie maybe start to consider not doing a live service game? If this is the position they're in, at what point do they think maybe we have to do something single player? Armani Coleman, a member for 7 months, says, what do you think is better, Miles Morales or Spider-Man 2? For me, it's Spider-Man 2, but I like Miles Morales. Who's stronger, Miles or Peter? I think Miles. I mean, I would assume Peter Parker's stronger. I liked Spider-Man 2 better than Miles Morales, ultimately. Miles Morales was fun. I really enjoyed it, but Spider-Man 2, I really like Venom, to be honest. Then again, why buy such a huge studio if they wanted them to make such a small game? Well, that's why I feel like the circumstances have changed, you know? I think, I'll put it to you this way. If you replaced Marathon with Destiny 3, like let's just say Marathon was never even in development. And when Bungie convinced Sony to buy them, it's like, yeah, we're in the process of making Destiny 3. That's our next big thing. I think everything would be different. Sony would have been like, yes, yes, yes. I think the circumstances everything's come together in such a way, almost like the perfect storm. Destiny 2 bled out. Marathon didn't even remotely hit. And now Bungie has become completely unsustainable as a studio. What now? I feel like when you those three things I just listed, I think that right there explains why Sony's like, we're not spending $500-600 million on Destiny 3. I think Sony's probably willing to drop a large budget for Bungie. 150 million, maybe even 200 million. You know? But I don't know. It's very, very, very strange, man. Very, very strange. I mean, Herman's probably looking at it as like, yo, it's my ass on the line now. So why did they buy them if every scenario is wrong for them? Well, this is where you do have to start to wonder how Sony really views Bungie now. You know, there's been this kind of, there's been some rumors that like Sony's out for revenge and shit like that. It's like, I don't think it's that. That sounds crazy. I don't think it's about revenge. I think it might just be that like, dude, Sony definitely feels burned by Bungie. But they also probably feel foolish themselves for allowing all of this to happen. I think what Sony's doing, to be honest with you, like if I had to guess, I think Sony has made the decision we're going to treat Bungie like all of our other studios. You know what I mean? To whereas I think prior to that decision, they basically, this was, I think, part of the contractual agreements, you know, with Bungie in order for them to even be purchased, they were kind of treated different. You know, like you're different, you're special, you're getting a special treatment. I think maybe what we're seeing now is Sony just being like, we're treating you like literally any one of our other studios. So if one of our studios comes up to us tomorrow, whether it be Naughty Dog, whether it be Guerrilla, whoever, and they're like, yeah, we want to do this game, and we have like this amount of expansions planned, this amount of support, it's going to be like $500 million before marketing. Sony's probably to any of their studios going to be like, no, that's fucking insane. We do have to remember that you know what? There's a major thing we're forgetting here too. And nobody is, I haven't mentioned this yet. We are all forgetting that Hiroki Totoki in this entire process since Bungie was purchased up until now, he was previously he was the CFO. He's now the CEO of all of Sony. So he was already the bean counter. He was already the money guy. Now he's overseeing everything. And actually, the more I think about it, that probably explains everything. You have the money guy who probably was not in favor of buying Bungie to begin with, but he didn't, he was in the CFO position. He doesn't get to make that call. I'm sure he had some responsibility in it, but he's the money guy. He's reading the room right now, and he's like, no game is getting a $400 million budget. I mean, I don't know. Just throwing things out there. It's possible. Anything's possible, I suppose. But I think we do forget about that there was a massive leadership changeover or turnover with Sony as well. And the guy whose job it literally was to make sure Sony is not overspending is now in charge of all of Sony. And Hiroki Totoki, I remember when he was playing the role of interim CEO before he became CEO. Hiroki Totoki was interim PlayStation CEO for a little while before he was promoted to the CEO of all of Sony. And he specifically paid a visit to Bungie. And I'll never forget, like, when we were covering that, he just seemed like he was like, yeah, I don't know what they're doing over there, but I'm not a fan of what they're doing over there. Like, they need to figure out their finances. Shit's all over the place. Like, he didn't say it in that way. You know, he was obviously only speaks Japanese, but like pretty much he was saying like they need to get their finances in order because it's a night like it's a shit show, and that's interesting to me because I'm like, damn. um, and now that guy's the CEO, so I don't, it's not revenge. Like that makes it sound like it's personal. It's not. You were here saying it's not personal. It's just business. That's what it is. It's just business. Everything Sony's doing with Bungie right now, it's purely business. Would it be wise of Sony to greenlight a Destiny 3? At this point, no. I'm going to say no because, well, you just cut your team in half, or you cut Bungie in half. Destiny 3 is no longer possible. To me, that might be the most interesting thing in all of this is like, it's not even a matter of do you want to make Destiny 3 or not? Destiny 3 is no longer possible. A Destiny game of some kind is certainly possible, but the idea of like what you saw happen with Destiny 2 and the way that was supported and rolled out, that's not possible anymore. What does Sony give Bungie to work on? I mean, based off of what Jason Schreier's saying here, oh God, my pecs are like my boobs flexing. Sorry. No, I just got like a really bad muscle cramp in my pec, dude. Oh my God. Holy shit. Based off of what Jason Schreier's saying here, he's confirming that, and this shouldn't be a surprise. This is how Sony runs their studios. They're letting Bungie come up with whatever they want. They're letting Bungie pitch them. But the only thing the only thing we need to understand is that Sony's giving them a certain framework to work within, a certain budget, I should say. Like, whatever you want to do, let us know, but it's got to be within this budget. And this is where I'm saying you might start to see Bungie. They're like, what do you mean? What do you mean we can't spend $800 million? Like, no, you can't. Can you do that? Can you make a game with $300 million or less? $200 million? And that's where Bungie, I feel like this is where they're just, if they do have a path forward, they're going to be completely transformed. They're not going to be a live service studio anymore, in my opinion. And so if that's not a possibility for them, like, well, we can't be a live service. Like, we can't be anything other than a live service studio. That's all we know. Then they're done. That's the future I see for Bungie, dude. To be honest. All right, where are we at time-wise? Let's see here. Question, MBG, why am I able to buy a membership on the YouTube app for my iPhone for Luke Stevens while he streams, but I can't for you? I'm already a member here, but I'm curious. I wish I could tell you. It has nothing to do with me. I've investigated this as deeply as I can. I don't have control over that. I literally don't know why. It doesn't help me, obviously. It hurts me. The only thing I figured is that YouTube is like very, 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 very at like a snail's pace rolling out some kind of update that's been rolling out for like a fucking year. I don't know. I don't know why, dude. I don't know why. I haven't been able to figure that out. I don't know. I wish I knew. I wish I could tell you. I wish there was some kind of setting. There's no setting. It's nothing like that. Yeah, classic YouTube, bro. Yeah. All right. Let me hold on. Sir Digital Dude with a $5 chat says the GTA outrage is so forced. Where was the outrage for Insomniac when they said the digital deluxe suits are exclusive to that edition? It's the same. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be honest, man. I feel like, and this goes for me too. All the outrage is forced. Like, we have two options these days. I think everybody knows this. It just sucks to have to be the one to say it. Where it's like you're either in or you're out. There is no bargaining here. And you know, I think what we like to do, a lot of people, myself included, is we like to believe that there's some kind of there's some way to bargain this. You know, we can change this. It's like on very rare occasion, perhaps, if the outrage truly reaches like nuclear levels, which rarely happens. It does happen from time to time, but it's got to be only it's only under very specific conditions. But 99% of the time, it's just like you're either in or you're out. And yeah, it's like I've tried to tell people with GTA, like whatever they do, unfortunately, no matter how you feel about it, you're gonna have to accept it because it's GTA 6, and they don't give a fuck. They can do whatever they want. They know they can do whatever they want, and they will do whatever they want. Is that defeatist of me? Perhaps. Am I wrong? No. Not even a little bit wrong. Not with GTA 6. But yeah, you're kind of right about that, Digital Dude. Like everybody just looked at that with Wolverine. You're like, okay, like okay, whatever. I mean, like Garrett, I'm not saying that people should be silent. I'm not saying that. I think it's good to speak out. I just think there is my problem these days is the way in which so many people are speaking out. It's like no wonder why they're ignoring you. It always comes back down to it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I fucked this up too myself. But I think there's so much noise anymore that I think so many of these companies, this is why they just look at the data, because the data isn't loud, it's not noisy, it's not all over the place. It's just, and it has no agenda. The numbers don't lie, you know? The numbers don't lie, the numbers don't have an agenda. They're just the numbers. So, you know, I think it's important for people to voice, you know, their concerns. We should not be silent. But I just fear that we've reached a saturation point where, like, I was trying to react to a video yesterday where the video, I'm not even kidding. If you watch the end of my stream yesterday, this video was trying to tell me why GTA 6 is going to be gay and retarded. And I'm like, okay. Like, this is why they don't care. Like, they're not listening. They do not care. They're laughing at you and they're going to make their money, you know? And I just, again, I'm not trying to be defeatist. I'm not trying to be that way, but it's just that is the way it is, you know? All right, let me lower this here. Hold on. I just realized my camera's not. All right. Okay. Lower just a little bit more. Sorry about that. PS Contraband with a $2 direct donation. Thank you for that, buddy. You're saying from the PS5 subreddit, Sony is deleting 551 movies from customers' accounts, stuff they bought, and digital is taking over. Look at GTA 6. I'll go check this out. And Perfect Image with a direct donation says, you are right, Hideaki Nishino is the money guy. We're actually talking about Hiroki Totoki. Although Hideaki Nishino has to be involved with the finances as well, obviously. That's why this gen they made 28 billion plus more this year. So he's going to be Stern with Holst. He's going to be more than Stern with Holst. Let me go check on this. Said it was the PS5 subreddit, right? No. I love how there's a picture of Arnold too from Terminator 2. Awesome. Why? PlayStation is deleting 551 movies from customer accounts, reminding us nothing is ever truly ours. What the fuck? Oh, this is being reported by Kotaku. It says Sony is contacting PlayStation users who bought movies from the platform that were distributed by Studio Canal, like Terminator 2, Total Recall, and Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, to say that you will no longer be able to access your previously purchased content from Studio Canal, and it will be removed from your video library. There's no mention of any refunds or make goods for the affected users. Sony simply says the films are going away, quote, due to our content licensing agreements, end quote. Once again, reaffirming the fact that you are never truly buying anything that's digital, just temporarily renting it. This news was brought to people's attention by ex-user Somatic, who posted the notification they had received from PlayStation this week. Along with the unapologetic news that the purchased movies would be deleted from their account on September 1st, the message concluded with, quote, click here for the full list of affected titles that will no longer be supported. Thank you, end quote. The same warning is now reproduced in full on PlayStation's website, along with the list of 551 films and TV series that are being pulled from people's libraries. Let me just finish reading this. It says Studio Canal is the production company behind classic movies like From Dusk Till Dawn and Cliffhanger, all of which are included in the list of films people thought they'd bought to own, but come September 1st, will be gone from their collections. What's really peculiar about PlayStation's message is that it's entirely unapologetic, simply stating that purchased content will be deleted, as if that's perfectly normal. We've contacted Sony to ask if customers can expect a refund for their deleted movies, or at least some form of compensation. Of course, when you scroll past the endless EULAs when you first use your PlayStation and click agree the first time you load the store, you're unwittingly agreeing that nothing you buy is really truly bought, and that it can be taken away from you at any point, and there's nothing you can do. The same is true of your games. This is why people care so much, or people care quite so much, in response to news like GTA releasing without a disc in its physical box, and underlines the risk that we all take every time we buy anything from any digital stores. None of it actually belongs to you, and you can access it so long as the company you bought it from says you can. Oh, boy. I mean, what's fucking crazy to me about this is, like, there's just something so wrong about the idea of, like, I bought, like, you paid to own these movies. So, like, if I bought Terminator 2 from whatever this company is that PlayStation allowed, maybe I paid like $25 for it, $20. The idea is I now own this movie digitally. I paid to own it, and it will forever be there. So anytime I want, I can boot up my PlayStation, I can watch this movie, and it's like wrong. It's literally getting deleted. That's what's fucking crazy, is it's just like it's gone. So basically, it reaffirms that when you buy something digitally, the only thing you're purchasing is a license. And you are, as the customer, you are expected to have good faith that that license will not be revoked. However, you are also asked to agree to EULAs, as it states, that actually that license can be revoked from you at any moment for any reason, and there's nothing you can do about it because you're agreeing to it. This is why I'm not saying what's going to happen with what's happening with these movies is going to happen with your games, but it does serve as proof that it can and does happen, and you never quite know when it's going to happen, who it's going to hit. You know, like, Should we wear? I mean, that's the thing. Like, is GTA 6 going to get deleted? No. Like, obviously, that's not going to. But years and years and years down the line, we don't know. I mean, are there people who are fine with this notion because they're like, well, once I get my use out of it, I don't care anymore. It may as well be deleted. Even if you purchase it, yes. And that's the way the companies want it. I'm not saying those people are the problem. That's unfair to say. That's unfair because they're not the problem. It's just the message that sends companies. It's like, wow, so you'll pay full price, consume it for a limited amount of time, and then it's basically like it just sits there. It's as if you did just rent it. That is how these companies don't want you to own anything, truthfully. But this is why I've always advocated for physical media, man. At the very least, I advocate for people to not like. There's nothing wrong, in my opinion, if you want to buy your stuff digitally. I'm not like, oh my god, there's something wrong with you or what's wrong. Like, you should stop that. It's not so much about that. It's about us collectively understanding the role of physical media and why we don't want it to permanently go away. Physical media, true physical media, where like if you buy a video game and there's a disc, the entire game is on that disc. It is playable offline. There's an importance to that. That needs to persist to some degree. Unfortunately, at the rate we're going, well, that's unfair to say. More and more people are becoming completely comfortable with the idea of what I just described. You buy your game digitally, you play it for as long as you want, and then it just sits there in your digital library. And your assumption is it will always be there until one day maybe it's not. And who knows, even if the day ever does come where it's not, you probably still won't care because you already played that game. I'm not going to pretend I'm going back and playing all of my games. You know, I'm not. But I don't know. It feels kind of wrong. You know, like an example like this with these movies being deleted, like this is just wrong, in my opinion. It's like, what do you mean you're fucking deleting shit we bought? Like I paid money for these movies. Like, and the thing, and the worst part is like that's the people who are getting fucked the most with this. They literally did pay more money to purchase the movie when they probably had the option to just rent it and watch it one time. So what I'm trying to say is their intention was, yes, I plan to continue to go back to this. It's fucked up. And unfortunately, like, yeah, I don't know that there's anything that can be done because yeah, I guarantee you it's like, oh yeah, well, you agreed to this. But like, what are we supposed to do? Not sign the EULA? Not agree to it? So then we can't fucking interact with anything at all? It's bullshit. You know, it's total bullshit. And this is why, like, this is why I just try to tell people, like, buy a physical game on occasion. You don't have to buy all your games physically. You don't have to have, like, some massive collection. But just continue to contribute in some way, shape, or form to that percentage of people buying games physically so it doesn't die out. I've tried to encourage this because, you know, Sony, Netflix, Amazon, Microsoft, Disney, they all want you to subscribe to watch. I know, man. I know. It's depressing. I mean, I think that's like, it's fine if that's an option. Like, I'm just saying we don't want to see the option go away. Like, this news we just covered of PlayStation deleting 551 movies from customers' accounts. Like, literally, if you're the person who, when you decided to buy Terminator, like, I'm going to buy Terminator 2 physically, Blu-ray, 4K Blu-ray, you're the smart one for doing that. Because Sony ain't touching shit. Ain't nothing getting deleted. You know? Rick with a $5 super chat says Microsoft closes multiple studios and bots defend it. Bungie gets downsized but still exists. Then Fat Sweaty Joe has a meltdown because Sony bad. Can't make this up. That's Fat Sweaty Joe. You look like he was sweating a little bit. I mean, yeah, Rick. Look, man. At this point, I'm used to people being perpetually irate with Sony and PlayStation. I'm just used to it. I think there are reasons to be. I think people get kind of crazy with it. When it comes to the layoffs at Bungie, I feel at this point like it's hard for me to be mad at anything because it's like, to me, this has been over. It's been a slow, depressing process, you know? You mentioned the bots. Dude, I can't even talk about the bots no more, man. But what about Microsoft, huh? I'm just, dude, to be honest, like, I saw some people yesterday, they were like, MBG, how come you're not going in, like, harder on Microsoft here? Like, bro, they fucking increased the price. Look at, like, a disc-based Xbox Series X is $800. It's because it's just, like, it's like I genuinely, I feel like I'm literally beating a dead horse. Like, I'm at a point where it's like, what can I really say by now? You know? I'm trying, like, I've tried to get to a point where I'm viewing things from a wider angle of, like, I've really gotten to a point where I'm like, dude, Sony has to just worry about how they're going to persist with PlayStation. Because we've reached this kind of weird end game where Nintendo is riding with the Switch 2. It's working for them for now. They have their properties. They're steady as it goes, right? For now. We've seen Nintendo get themselves into some shit before. We don't know if that's going to happen again. They're just kind of doing their own thing. Then you have Microsoft, and Microsoft is like quite the opposite, where they're just all over the fucking place. Can't even, like, you know, if you're a true, like, hardcore Xbox fan, you can't get respite because they're telling you something different every week. I shit you not. Asha Sharma said 2 days ago, it was like came out, it was being reported that gaming is becoming unaffordable, to then 2 days later, Microsoft announces they're increasing the price of the Xbox Series consoles by $100 and $150. And I'm like, what? Okay. Like, this is nuts. This is nuts. It is cartoon shit, bro. I mean, that is straight up cartoon shit. And then you have Valve, and I'm seeing PC guys turning on Valve with the Steam Deck. Or, sorry, the Steam machine. And I'm like, and then there's just PlayStation. And the worst thing that's going on with PlayStation right now is the Bungie thing. And that's why I'm like, I don't even care about what the fuck's going on with Bungie. I'm not trying to be like a dick, but it's like, let them rot, because I've given up on them completely. I'm just concerned about what the future of the PlayStation console and PlayStation as we know it now. I'm concerned about what the hell is going to happen. Because I've watched what happens to a company that's similar to PlayStation in the gaming sector with Microsoft, where what happens when the console sales really start to plummet, when the engagement really starts to plummet. And what we've seen is everything that Microsoft has done. I'm like, oh God, the scramble, the absolute scramble, and the floundering. It's inevitable Sony will have to raise prices maybe next year, but do they stop production? Otherwise, it'll be a $1,000 console and just focus on the base. I mean, like, I don't know, dude. Like that's what I'm saying. It's just I don't know what Sony's gonna do. Like, you increase the price. We just covered how the sales are down, man. Like the lowest they've been since May of the year 2000, bro. Like, you can't raise the price again, Sony. You literally can't. The argument has already been made that you increasing the price of the PS5 to 650, 900 for the Pro, but just the base PS5 being at 600, 650, that's you've already crossed the threshold, man. You go any further than that, you're in no console land. You know, like where do you like this is why I'm saying it really is it is fucking wild that we are actually talking about the idea of Sony deciding to stop production of PlayStations as like that's the best solution temporarily. Better hold on, Sony. I mean, I'm laughing, but like in all seriousness, it's like this might truly be. I mean, there is a kind of potential upside here, like a short term upside for us, like people who are already in the PlayStation ecosystem. Who am I kidding? There's no upside. I don't know. Like maybe they'll like focus harder on like we need to deliver what these guys want, like now, because we ain't getting new customers, so we got to keep them happy. There might be that upside, but from a tactical perspective, if they wait to raise the prices till after GTA, they will sell more consoles for sure, and they have the marketing rights to GTA. They can't fumble the bag. Well, there is a potential play Sony could make here that it is still a dangerous one, but they could be trying to hold off on a price increase until we get closer to the holiday season. Like until maybe something like GTA, maybe Wolverine, where like if things don't change, I mean, it's clear that things are not going to change between now and then. They may have to just bite the bullet and say, yeah, we have to increase the price. And they'll just have to pray that GTA 6 and Wolverine are enough to push people where it's like, yeah, the PlayStation's like $800 now, but do you want GTA 6 or not? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm at a point where I even question if GTA 6 would be enough to sell us an $800 console. The shit's hitting like I'm not trying to be that guy, man, and I don't want to be that guy. Like it's easy for me to be that guy sometimes, but it's like I don't want to say things are doomed, but there's really very few bright spots. Like it's hard no matter which direction you look in, it's like there's a major problem. There's a major issue like directly in front of the console business right now. I'm worried for Sony because they've never had to cross this threshold. And I'm not saying they will have to. They might have an alternative solution that I'm not thinking of, but the closest we've ever gotten to Sony crossing this threshold is with the PS3. But that was different because it's like you're your own problem. Fix yourself and you fix the problem. And they did. This is different. This is external. There's nothing they can do to change the console market and the direction it's going in right now. So I worry that Sony's going to be ill prepared to handle this. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've always had a backup plan, but I don't know. The more PS5s that sell, the quicker the price goes up. because if they run out of current stock, they have to renegotiate new RAM costs. Ooh. I mean, all this while we're getting a historic year for games themselves. I know, dude. Like that's the thing is like the business model is literally collapsing. The hardware business model is collapsing. Software, it's looking great. The problem truly is becoming like, should we be worried that people are literally not going to be able to access this software now? Because it's entering that territory. Xbox One, they finally beat Sony PlayStation by having Microsoft kill the console industry. Former Guerrilla Games producer Poria Torkin has taken over as the head of Bungie. He stepped in to run the studio following a massive restructuring and leadership shakeup. Micron locked in higher RAM prices for 5 years. What about the other RAM manufacturers? Where is that where Sony secures their RAM from? Well, if Micron locked in that price, higher RAM prices for at least 5 years, surely other RAM manufacturers are going to follow suit. Dude, I'm telling you, there's only one. I'm starting to think there's only one solution. We got to go back. We got to go back. Like, I'm not saying bring the PS4 back. I'm not saying like go all the way back. I'm not saying go back that far, but like Sony, I'm not kidding when I say Sony's solution in one of two ways, they're going to have to make a cheap ass console. Doesn't matter if it's for the PS5, doesn't matter if it's for the PS6, but it is reaching that point where if a base PS5 goes beyond $700, I mean, we're already at that point, but if a base PS5 goes beyond $700, like Sony, I think is going to, if they plan to try to keep their hardware business alive and their hardware business model alive, you're going to have to, God, that's such a fucking nightmare though, man. Because think about what they would have to be asking devs to do. They would literally have to start asking devs, like, you got to do what you do for the Series S for PlayStation now too. You know? Why are you just coming in and calling me a clown, bro? Come on. GeForce Now and other cloud companies may get more users, bypass the hardware. Well, Sony does have they have a decently strong cloud infrastructure. I just don't know that that's going to, like, I don't know that that's going to be a satisfactory alternative for the market. Like, I'm trying to envision a scenario where the PS6 comes out and it's like $800, $900, right? Let's just say it's $900. And it's like, okay, well, I don't want to buy that. Can I just buy a PS5? The PS5 is $700, $750 by this point. You know? So, is there any other way for me to access PlayStation in these games? Yeah, through the cloud. I just don't know that that's going to be. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it could be like maybe Sony could make a little tiny box, and it will be called PlayStation 6 Lite, and it's literally like it has minimal hardware in it, but it basically is just to facilitate cloud gaming. That might, I mean, that might be it. That might be the only answer at some point. I don't know. I don't know. But guys, I think we are going to wrap up today's stream. I'm not going to lie, my neck is starting to bother me a little bit. But also, I mean, it's, okay, so we're a little bit further away from the 3-hour mark. I thought we were closer to the 3-hour mark. Oh, hold on, boss is here. Yeah, they're gonna take what they did with the Portal and just do it for the console. I mean, it kind of worked with the Portal, right? But yeah, guys, I think this is where we're gonna wrap up the discussion today. Um, boss, are you telling me you can't get up there? You're a cat, man. Like you're supposed to be more agile than that. Damn. He is getting older. He's getting older. There he is. Boss has finally appeared. I'm surprised he showed up. He like doesn't show up anymore. Yeah, we should be doing a stream tomorrow. Me and Mrs. and BG. But yeah, guys, that's gonna wrap it up for today. Before I head out, I want to thank everybody for their support. If you tuned in today, thank you so much for that. I did put out a video earlier. You can go check that out if you missed it or if you want to show extra support. I want to make sure to thank everybody who showed any direct support through memberships. If you dropped any super chats, direct donations, thank you guys so much for that. I can only do what I do here because you make it possible. Simply wouldn't be able to do it without that support. So thank you all so much. And other than that, I want to make sure to give a shout out to Devil Shooter, who does the timestamps for the stream. If you guys see him with those timestamps, give him some thanks, show him some love. I know he appreciates it. And just make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And that's it. I will be seeing you guys very soon. And once again, another shout out to Whiskey Gaming for the awesome logo plaque there and the cigar. So thank you for that, Whiskey. That's it, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day. I will catch you all in the next one. Until then, take care, everyone.